there is something God is doing with this young generation. I believe there has been a shift. There has been a transfer of mandate. There has been a revival in this generation because for the first time we are seeing young people who are actually on fire for God. They are hungry for God. That's something that has not been very common, as opposed to the past times when churches were full of old people entered church, and the only people that were committed to God are our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our fathers, and our mothers, and that was it. But now we see young people who are actually pursuing God in genuineness, and that's a great thing. There is revival, and a lot is happening actually within the circles of the young people. There's a lot that is happening. There is a big move of God that is happening with this generation. So I feel this is a great thing that is happening in this time. Actually, it is. It is. It has been prophesied by several servants of God. Even before Pastor Benny Hinn came, that prophecy has been there concerning young people and the revival that is supposed to happen within the young generation, and how God is going to use the young people for the revival, the revival of this generation. And then Prophet Cindy Jacobs also prophesied that in this meeting. What's it called? Something Fire Conference, Heaven's Fire or something like that. Yeah. So Prophetess Cindy Jacobs prophesied exactly what you saw happening after the Rhema Feast. The young people in the streets of Nairobi. And then, of course, there is Pastor Benny Hinn. But so many other prophets have spoken. We've been riding on this word. God gave us this word ourselves back in 2019, 2020. We had this word concerning a revival that is coming to happen, and that is going to happen with the young people. So yes, whatever is happening now is a fulfillment of prophecy, because there are several marks that came with this prophecy. Every time a man of God prophesied about this generation, there are several marks. He talked about revival in prayer. He talked about the hunger for God. He talked about miracle signs and wonders. And so when we see this, truly, this is a fulfilled prophecy. And I believe even more is coming to happen. There's a lot of awakening within the young people, not just in church, but also in the world. There is a lot of innovation that is being done by the young people. A lot of creativity that is revolutionizing governments, revolutionizing marketplace, and all this is caused by young people. So yes, there is a revival that is happening. It was prophesied, and now we are seeing it. The church needs to be ready for equipping. When rain is coming and it has been a dry season, a wise person will start collecting containers for the water. Farmers will start plowing their land in preparation for the rains that are coming. When prophecy was released, God does not just speak. I mean, what would be the reason for the speaking? What would be the reason for the prophecy? But the reason God spoke is there is something we are supposed to do about it. God spoke so that the church can do something about it. We needed to ready ourselves. And one big area is the area of mentorship. Because we realized the hunger that this generation has is too big to satisfy with the old wine. The hunger that this generation has is a big hunger. If the church is not ready, it will not be able to satisfy the need that they have. Remember, these are people that are well learned, they're educated, they are smart, and then they are hungry for God. With logic, you can even tell when it's just mediocrity happening. You can tell. With logic, without first the Spirit, just logic. You can look at something and the things that are happening in church, and you can tell this one, there is no God here. This is just this drama, you know. So what the church needed to do, or needs to do even now, is to be ready for the equipping. Because even if, okay, the purpose of the church is not just to admit people so that they stay in, but to cause impact outside. If young people are bringing impact to the government, imagine if the church was there to equip them so that we know how best impact can be made and what are the methods that can be used. But you see, the reason there has been a bit of a failure in the part of the church is because the church was not ready for it. The Gen Zs, once they were done with the government, they came back to occupy church because they felt there is a lot of mess within the church. And they were right. They were right, actually. We were messing up. There was a lot of mess up within the church. There was a lot of mess up on the pulpit. And even people that are outside can see the mess up. Now, what does the church need to do? Ready for the equipping. Throw out mediocrity. Let's take in the new wine, the new revelation, prepare our wineskins. Be ready with our containers. They are coming, so what are we going to do? Then give them knowledge. Fill them with knowledge. Fill them with revelation. Train them, teach them, then send them out. Send them to government. We need to occupy all the 7 mountains. Send them out. Send them to the marketplace. Send them to government. Send them to media. Look at how the young people are using the media space. So active in the media space. But most of them are using it for some other not very good good things. So imagine if they were trained well to use the media space for good. They need to take over. They are the same people that are going to be creating families in the next few years. They need to be ready for it. I'm actually talking about all the 7 mountains. So the church needs to be ready to it. Well, for us to know what we need to do, we must first do some, what is it called? We do some check on what these people have. The first thing you'll realize they have is, like you said, full of zeal. They are very zealous. They are very, very zealous. Number 2, they are full of energy, very energetic, very energetic. Number 3, they have time. That's a resource that is hard to find. Number 4, they are smart, well educated, and informed. Considering all this, what you see there is too much power. I'm talking about human power and ability. There's too much potential in them that if they decide to do anything, they can do it. Too much potential. Now, what needs to be done as now you're the Gen Z, myself, I'm a millennial, young but millennial. You're a Gen Z, the first thing that needs to be done is to put all this ability into being tamed. Too much power that is not tamed is destructive. If there can be power without direction, I don't know how this physics thing, but you're a teacher of physics yourself. There is this thing about force. Is it called force and direction? There are things we used to learn. Anyway, if you have too much power but you cannot be tamed and shown the right direction, it can also get messy. It can get destructive because there's too much potential, but it's flowing every direction, you know? And imagine you have too much power, but you've not been taught how to control the power that is within yourself. If you can learn to control, there is too much good you can do with it. But if you don't know how to control it, you have it, but there is not much you can do. Now, I want you to see in scriptures, everything that God released that had power, there was something to keep it in check. In marriage setup, a woman is portrayed to be the one who has too much power. But the authority was reserved for the man to keep this power in check. You see? Now, the first thing a Gen Z should do is to sit under proper mentorship. I would advise every Gen Z, find a good mentor. Sit under proper teaching, proper instructor and instructions, proper guidance, proper mentorship. It must affect, because it's like lighting a piece of paper. It's fast, it's bright, it's big, but it's short. Quick results do not produce longevity. You see these old men that we see, they may not have this energy, they may not have this zeal, they may not even have the revelation the young people do. But there are few things they have. One, they have longevity. They have stood the test of time. That means something. Number two, they have the experience with God. Number three, without revelation, we know of the signs. They may not have had depth like exists now within the young people, but they have genuine miracles. And now, they are generals, not because of quick results, but because of long-term results. You cannot be a general because you did something quick and then you ended quick. If you want to be a general and cause much impact, then you must have the time backing you up, saying this man has stood a test of time and has been able to sustain this impact for generations, or rather for a longer season. Now, young people must embrace this and recognize that even though the old may not be as they are, but they have something they can tame. Consider this. The young prophet Samuel and the old Eli. The old Eli, whom in his time, the Bible says, and the word of the Lord was rare. The young prophet Samuel comes up, he has already heard the voice of God. And God is not leaving any of his words fall to the ground empty. Yet, Samuel has to serve the Lord before Eli. God has already pronounced judgment in the house of Eli through Samuel, but Samuel has to serve God in the presence of Eli. So that Samuel is brought up into the general that we know Samuel to be. So the quick results may not be long-term results. They are good, they are fiery, they are happening. But the question is, can it be sustained for long? How many young people have I seen that began, rose up, and then went down as quick as they came up? So many. We saw miracles happen, we saw deliverances, but then they went down as quick as they rose. And that you realize it's because they did not accept, or rather consider it a good thing, a prudent thing, to sit under instructors. Now remember, if we are still dealing with God, God has patterns and principles. And among the patterns and principles of God, one thing about him is there are men that are given the mandate to teach you God. Well, mtu hapangwingwi, like I said, God has patterns and principles, and he will never reduce his standards to fit the deficiency of men. So what God always does is he elevates men to meet up with him at his level. He will not reduce his principles or break them so that he accommodates people that are not willing to submit to those principles. For example, like I said, there are people that God has set to teach others God. And God will not come and do a job that he has already committed to another. For example, Samuel hears a voice call him. He runs to his father. Says, "You've called me." He says, "No." Goes back. You know, the time Samuel is moving, God is watching. God called him and God is watching. He's seeing him move. He's saying nothing. The second time he calls him, he's seeing Samuel get out of his bed, go to Eli. God is quiet. He doesn't tell him, hey, it's me, it's me. No, it's not Eli. It's me, the Lord your God. No. Samuel comes back the third time. It is until Eli begins to teach Samuel about the voice of God and to teach Samuel how to respond. Because God will not. He can call you a million times. You know you are called by God, but you have not been taught God. You've not been taught how to respond. You've not been taught his voice. Because upangwingwi. Now God will keep watching until when you listen to Eli, a man that even he left. He once moved with him. Now it's a shift of season. Samuel has come up. I want you to take this as a representation of two generations. Eli as the representation of the older generation, then Samuel as a representation of the young generation. God moved with Eli. The season ended. God left his house. Now God has come to Samuel. But Samuel has to listen to Eli, and God will not teach Samuel what Eli is supposed to teach him. Woe unto Samuel if he neglects the teaching of Eli. Because God is passed down generations. God is taught to men. God is not discovered. You don't discover God. Now, I'll speak this in two ways. I'll answer a question you've not asked, then I'll answer the one you've asked. The question you've not asked is this. If you study the past revivals, they began, they ended. They began, they ended. Some of them began, they ended. We may not talk about their ending. We always talk about their glory and their success. But it's important to know that if we believe that we are in the season of revival and we are the people that God is using in this revival, it's important to study previous revivals that happened and how did they start? What were the challenges and how did they end? I'll mention two. One is called Azusa Street Revival. Happened in Azusa Street, led by a man called William Seymour. A powerful revival, marked by signs and wonders that are just on their level. Many things happened. Many miracles happened in Azusa Street Revival. Tongues of men and of angels were spoken. People would be filled with tongues and speak in German. They would speak in French, a language you've never learned. People were, someone who's never played piano would just go sit on a piano, and by the Spirit of God, they'll begin to play. The Spirit of God would select a speaker, anyone, orderly, and there would just be a speaker. And so many things happened. That revival was going on continuously. It was not ending. You'd leave your own time, go do your things, come back. Others were still continuing. While you're away, others are continuing. While you come back, there are those that are away, and the revival was continuous. What killed the Azusa Street Revival? Demonic manifestations entered into the revival. And now, as much as they were seeing the manifestations of the Spirit of God, there are also demonic manifestations that were happening, and now they could not tell which is which. Because men can get overzealous until they leave God. That's one. Two is the East African revival. It's called the Tukutendereza. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Tukutendereza, it was mostly in the Anglican Church. That revival was amazing. Again, followed by signs and wonders and miracles and mighty things. And it was marked by love. These people loved one another. They would find themselves, they would even meet on the streets, and then they'd begin to sing with joy. Tukute, tendereza, je, Jesu, Yesu. And they would hug, and they were known for their love. And God moved in that revival until when it turned into what we now know as, in our place, they're called Amasai, Ombaji. When wanakuja kwa nyumba, wanaanza kutoa mavitu. Do you know those things were born out of the East African revival? Now, how did it turn to be like that? Being under check is important, however much fire you carry. So revival is here. What next? Number one, be under check. Be under check. These men that have moved with God, they may not know some things. They may not be able to do. But certainly, they know God. And they can tell when it's not God. Especially a man that once operated with God. Or even there are those that are still with God. They know God. Being under check is important. Number two, now back to your question. And yes, I'll put them together. Revival is happening. Now what? This is what revival must do. Revival does not just lead people to pray and to lock themselves in church and resign from their jobs and leave their schools and be in fellowship every day. That is not the entireness of revival. Revival must affect every sector. Revival must affect government. Revival must affect the economy. Revival must affect business. You're talking about marketplace. Revival must affect marketplace. Revival must affect politics. Revival must affect families. Revival, because God came, now we are supposed to see. Look at this. Every time, if you read the books of Chronicles, 2nd Chronicles mostly, every time Israel fell away from God, you'll notice one thing. There was always a wealth transfer. They were plundered and wealth was taken. Every time God lifted a king and that king came and they repaired the altar and began to seek the Lord, there was always another wealth transfer. Now moving from foreign nations back to Israel. What does that tell you? Every time there is a new move of God, it does not end with prayer. The prayer is for something. The zeal is for something. The desire for the word is for something. It is for impact. So you want to see proper revival, check the impact that the revival has brought. Check impact on governance. Check impact on economy. Check impact in education. Check impact in marketplace. Check impact in business. Check the wealth of the people. Do you realize in the early church when the Spirit of God came, it reached a time the Bible says that none of them in church was in lack. That is revival. So it is a wrong notion that because of revival, young people must leave their school, leave their education, come to pray, leave their works, come to pray, leave the politics, come to pray, leave. God is not, number one, God is not a God of the church. That mentality must enter our heads. God is the God of all. He sets up kings. He brings them down. He's in charge of kingdoms. He gives power to make wealth. That means he's in charge of business. He's in charge of families. He's in charge of every sector. God is a God of all. God is not a God of the church. He is God even to those who are not in church. Even to Satan, God is still God. Number two, God is not a Christian. We must open our mindsets and stop caging ourselves into the Christian mentality of locking ourselves in church and assuming that God is a Christian. He will shock you by the kind of people he uses. Were it not for this harlot, they would not enter the walls. God is not a Christian. Number three, even salvation is not for the church. Jesus did not die for the church. He died for the world. Let's take that mentality and know that as much as revival has come, the place for action is the world. The place for action is that business arena. The place for action is those governments. We need presidents and members of parliament, legislators that are revived, kings that are born again. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. The more you encounter God, the more it breaks you. The more you know about God, when you see God, it brings you down to a point that now you begin to understand God himself witnesses for the humble. So a man that has truly met with God, his humility is high so that his God can be seen more. Imagine Moses is called the most humble man on the face of the earth because he has met God. Number two, a debe that makes too much noise is that which is half empty, not full. If someone, you've received a little oil or a little water in your debe, it's just a little quarter or somewhere a third. If you knock it, it has a lot of noise. But one that is full to the brim, there is a way it goes quiet. You understand? Most people that I see proud, the moment I see you proud, I know you have nothing. That which you think you have is too small. Some people feel like because you're making people fall down, now you're powerful. You've not met a man that makes no one fall down, but his presence is an atmosphere. All he has to do is speak. Or not, just appear. That people may fall down in your meeting and leave without impact. And another one, no one falls down, but impact will be spoken of. So, young people need to meet God. The more you meet God, the more humble you become. If you find yourself being tempted to teach or instruct your elder, just know already you are on the path to failure. That's an assured path to failure. It doesn't matter how powerful you seem to be. 3 things we always say that finish servants of God: women for men and men for women, money, and pride. If you're a young person, all I ask, make sure you are under someone for instruction, correction, rebuke, teaching, training, tutor, what's it called? Tutelage. Make sure you are under someone that you can listen to, that can rebuke you and you'll accept in fear and trembling. Another thing I'll say, there is a way God knows how to bring down, how to humble you. God can give you a lot and put you where there is nothing, and ask of you to submit there. See, I love my Father in the Lord. There are things he doesn't do much. You don't see him do a lot of miracles or a lot of healings. Rarely. My Father loves the word. Now, whenever my Father lays his hands on me and I'm going to minister, the miracles that will happen in that meeting, because usually it's not just about the power, but it's about the principles that must be obeyed. So yes, young people need to be under and meet God enough to go low. If you are humble, no one will take anointing from you. If you have it, you have it. Put on a vest, put on a t-shirt and a short. If you're anointed, you're anointed. It does not obey suit. Kneel down for people to pray for. If you're anointed, you're anointed. That's it.